Water problems continue to persist in Kona. As of mid-October, Honokahau Deep Well has been repaired and is currently operational. Earlier in the month, the Palani and Hualalai wells were repaired. However, Hualalai and Keahu'olu deep wells went offline the first and second weeks of October, respectively. Department of Water Supply Manager and Chief Engineer Keith Okamoto gave us this update on Thursday.
Palani well is over 1,000 gallons per minute in capacity, and the status is it's currently operational. We've been monitoring all the wells up there, continually, and that one is showing good signs. We're comfortable. It's operating stably, so we're very appreciative of having Palani well back online.
Hualalai well. That went down. It was fixed around October 3rd, but it went down again. So first of all, tell us the capacity and then what the status is today, November 2nd.
Okay, Hualalai, well, if I can recall correctly, I believe that one is also, typically our GPM is over 1,000 GPM. That one has posed some challenges for us. And yeah, that one was very disappointing because on that well repair, we added additional third-party reviews of the topside components. A company came in from the mainland to review our settings on the electrical equipment in the control building. Everything was gone through. We checked from the transformer through the wire going down the hole, and everything appeared to be okay, and it was actually functioning for a few days, which gave us a level of comfort. And then shortly after we issued the press release that we had both Hualalai and Palani back up, that one went down. So very frustrating. That one we still don't know the cause of failure. It's another one where we have to send the motor back because it was determined to be a motor failure. So we need to send the motor back and see what happened to it. And then even with that, that may not tell us what the root cause of that failure is. But very frustrating, very frustrating.
Do you have a time frame on bringing Hualalai back online?
Not a set time frame right now. We're trying to focus our efforts on getting Keopu back online because that one we're still awaiting for the motor and the pump to arrive. Its contract completion date is December 20th, and that's another one we're continuing to work with the suppliers and the manufacturers to see if there's any way they can expedite the shipment of the pump and motor, so we can get that, up and running ahead of schedule. In the meantime, we'll continue to evaluate Hualalai. QOT, we already put out and awarded a bid for a replacement pump and motor set. So I don't know the exact time frames. I don't think that order has specifically been placed with the manufacturer yet, but that's another one we're going to follow up and see if we can expedite the turnaround and get that repaired sooner than later.
So the last thing you just talked about, is that Hualalai or Keopu?
Oh, that last one I talked about is QOT, otherwise known as Keahu'olu. That was the other one that went down about second week of October, 2 weeks ago, around there.
And we don't know why that one went down?
That one also is, so this one we're spending a bit more time. We haven't pulled it out of the hole yet. We're trying to make sure that we've gone through every topside equipment. We've even swapped out the transformer. And we're trying to see if we can find a smaller motor that we can run a small load test through the starter equipment. And what that is supposed to show us is help us confirm whether or not the problem is down in the hole or if it could be a problem in the topside equipment.
It's been nearly a month since the previous water supply update on the North Kona water restriction. Island residents were surprised to hear that in that time, additional wells had failed without any public notification. Ruth Alawa, who follows Kona water issues closely, made note of the gap in communication during Wednesday's council meeting.
I just seen the newspaper about some of these wells that were broken that we didn't really find out about till just recently, and we just cracked the joke. I just want to share it. Okay, my joke is that if there's a fire on the first floor of a building and you're on the third floor, I would appreciate knowing that there's a fire on the first floor of the building. So Hawaii Department of Water Supply, if the wells are out of order or there's errors that are happening, please let us know because we should reduce our water usage. This is a group thing. The whole building's going to be on fire and we're not going to have any water. Let us know. Don't keep it a secret, please. Thank you.
So, Keith, I want to ask you about communication. The first question is, why did you not issue an update when 2 additional wells failed shortly after October 3rd?
So, yeah, that was a decision made with, of course, I don't make these major decisions in a vacuum. It's getting the information, discussing it internally. And basically, that was a decision made because we're very comfortable. Throughout this whole process, we got to understand our water system a lot better and its capabilities. Our capabilities of our staff and our personnel to manage the water system and move water around in the system as needed. And what we knew is we were very comfortable with, even after the wells went down in the first and second week in October, by monitoring the tank levels 3 times a day, by discussing with staff, is that we're very comfortable that the situation was stable and that the public was not in any, there wasn't any adverse impact expected to the public, such as a water outage or things like that. So our thought at the time was a press release was not needed when the 2 wells went down, because the situation of the system was stable, and it was still a 25% restriction, which was what we put out on October 3rd, which was downgraded from the emergency restriction, where we asked folks to stop irrigation and things like that, was still applicable. The reason I think we were more day-to-day updates or more frequent updates during the emergency water restriction was because that was a much higher level of concern, and which is why we called it an emergency water restriction, and limited. We tried to ask people to limit their usage to really health and sanitary needs.
The timing of that was very close to the Ironman Triathlon World Championship, and a lot of people on the island had been expressing concern that that would put strain on the water system. Did the proximity to Ironman impact your decision to not issue a release as you had done with every single well change for the past 10 months?
No, it really didn't. But what we did was we made sure we monitored the tank levels every day, 3 times a day, because we knew, the event was on the 14th, but we knew that the uptick in I guess the people in the area started before that. So again, we knew that the water tank levels were stable throughout that week going into Ironman. We're very confident, again, going through the weekend, we're monitoring the tank levels 3 times a day throughout the weekend, and they all remain stable throughout Ironman, the week prior to the week prior. So again, that all fed into the decision that, we're comfortable.
The Department of Water Supply is a semi-autonomous agency, which means they do not necessarily answer to the Hawaii County Administration. Hawaii County Mayor Harry Kim told West Hawaii Today that he was aware of the situation and accepted the plan to withhold information, even though he said he did not agree with it. Not issuing anything between October 3rd and October 31st, I believe, has probably led to a lack of trust from the Big Island community. So what do you do now to reestablish trust with the Big Island community about openness of communications?
That's a tough question. We continue to try and be as open as possible. I guess moving forward, if the need again is there that the community needs to be informed, we'll definitely issue press releases and things like that. Yeah, so the public trust is very important to us, and I apologize if any of our actions have decreased that. Our primary mission really is to provide safe, potable drinking water, continuous supply at a reasonable cost, and we remain committed to that. And I guess we feel that that's really our main purpose. And if you open your tap, water comes out, you have no doubt that you can put it in a cup and drink it. And when your water bill comes, it's still relatively fair compared to some of your other bills. That's really our mission. We try to be as best as we can about communication and openness, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to try and be better. If there's a legitimate concern from any of the community, feel free to contact our office at any time, and we'll provide you information at your request. It can be about a specific pump or motor rather than the overall situation, and we'll give that information freely. We won't hold anything back if somebody asks. But a press release notifying the whole general public, that's something, decision was made by me where because it goes out to everybody, then it really needs to have an impact to everybody. So again, we apologize if there's any decrease in the public trust. We're here to serve you fresh potable water, and we're going to continue to do that.